Hello, this is Thomas, K4SWL. If you're new here, I like to do real-time, real-life amateur radio field activation videos. And today I'm at Lake Norman State Park here in Troutman, North Carolina, sort of between Statesville and Charlotte. Really pretty park. It's a beautiful day. Actually, last time I was here, I don't know if you can see this from here or not, but I think the last video I did here was in one of the picnic shelters down here at the very end. And I did the entire activation inside the shelter. I set up the Cheligun's MC750 and it was just pouring rain outside. Today it is not raining. It's a beautiful day. I mean, just spectacular. And I've actually been at the park now for a while. First and foremost today, I really wanted to do a hike. And so I came here and I love their lakeshore hike. It's a really nice one. It's you know, for someone who likes to do soda activations, it's kind of an easy hike because there's no major elevation change. You're just going around the contours of the lake, really. The path just kind of follows the contours of the lake. And so it's a long trail. It's a little over 6 miles when you do the full loop. But it's not very difficult. It's just really fun and really pleasant. And I had such a wonderful time. It's about 80 degrees Fahrenheit right now. I never know what that is in Celsius. What, 25, 7, something like that maybe? I'd have to look it up. I've rarely lived in a European country where the temperature got that high. I'm joking. I'm not good at doing the translation between these. But today it's hot because it's just like 100% humidity. It's very, very humid. You can't see this with the camera, but it's thick. Today you could cut it with a knife. And, so I am thoroughly tired from doing the, hike, and really sweaty. And it's for that reason I'd like to just completely just deceive you and tell you that all those people who like to watch my antenna deployments, that the reason I didn't deploy it today was because, you know, something happened that stopped me from doing it. Before in the past, I've gotten phone calls and decided to do the antenna deployment when I got the phone call. Well, that wasn't the case today. I have no excuse. I decided not to film myself doing it because, doing the deployment, because I'm drenched in sweat right now. I'm so hot and drenched in sweat. I just didn't want to be in front of the camera. I don't like being in front of the camera on a good day. And if you know me, you know that about me. It's the reason I'm not in front of the camera a whole lot here. Well, that and I don't have a personality-driven, you know, YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is really just kind of an accessory, sort of a, it sort of just supports my blogging, to be honest, at QRPer.com. Always make sure that you're going to QRPer.com and checking that link below to the field report. That has all the information about this. To me, the video is only like 40% of what I do. I spend more time writing up the field report typically and putting in links and giving you more information and more photos and all those good things. And, but anyway, you've spoken, lots of people have told me that they really love it when I do an antenna deployment so people can see the antenna deployment in real time. And I've done that in the past several, videos. So you'll just have to forgive me, for not, doing it on this one. I'm just sweaty and I just don't want to be in front of the camera. But I should have filmed it because you know why? This was an amazing deployment. It really was. You can't tell here, but it was fabulous. A lot of people have been asking me lately, like, how long did it take you to learn to use an arborist throw line? You know, people are just learning to use it. I know that Terry, Terry, I can't remember your call sign now. She's getting ready to a trip to Nova Scotia. She's written some guest posts on QRPer.com. In fact, probably by the time this is posted, she's already back from Nova Scotia. And she's trying to learn to use an arborist throw line really quickly before she goes there because she's going to take a throw line to do some POTA when she's in with her KX2 when she's in Nova Scotia. And the truth is, when I first learned to use a throw line back in 2020 or something like that, probably 3 years ago, when I first started using those, when I first used a throw line, that was it for the rest of, I'd never used monofilament or anything else again. I just used a throw line. It works so much better than anything else. And that very first time I tried using a throw line, when I was practicing, I was at my house. I used a tree at my house in the front yard with my wife and daughters being able to look outdoors and make fun of me as I was doing it. I would recommend trying it at home when no one's there but you. So nobody can see you, you know, trying to launch a line into a tree. But I probably only did like 10 practice tries, and then I went to the field and I did it. And, you know, I actually had really good success at first. You know, it's funny, arborist throw lines and throwing to me is a little bit like the game of bowling. And I'm talking about like US bowling, like, you know, bowling in bowling lanes, not, you know, bowling like you talk about in the UK. I found that bowling, I love bowling, by the way. I used to do a lot. I was in leagues and stuff when I was in high school, and loved to go bowling in college. And I love bowling. I haven't been in a long time. I don't go very regularly anymore. I don't live anywhere close to bowling lanes that are accessible. I do too, but I just don't do it much. But the really cool thing about bowling is, and I've seen this happen many times, sometimes brand new people to it have incredible beginner's luck. So the very first time they're learning to bowl, as long as they just get the form right when they're launching the ball down the lane, it seems they get a lot of strikes and spares and stuff, and they do really well. And I find that they do really well their first couple of games, then it starts to just taper off. And really, they're starting to play their game where their skill level really is. But I've seen sometimes they start out really strong, like really strong game. And I know one person that thought, gosh, maybe I'm a natural at this. But it just seems that with time, it goes back down, and then you have to build it back up again and surpass where you started, you know, when you start to build skill. I've seen that happen so many times in bowling, and I think it's the same thing with arborist throw lines, because first couple times I went out, I was just so impressed with how well it worked. Then I went through a period of probably a year of, and in that time, 100 activations, who knows, of throwing lines in trees, and it taken me 3 times to do it. Rarely does it take more than 3 times to get a line in a tree, because to be honest, don't look, like when you look at a situation like this where you've got all these branches, you want to think about the overall picture. I want it to go up and over that and down, not I want that particular branch in that particular little area. Don't do that when you're learning it. You just need to get it up there. Your antenna doesn't care how pretty that deployment is. You just need the height, and you need the antenna to be happy for its own reasons. So, you know, don't worry about that. So I would say, like I said, practice at home a few times, and take your throw line to the field and just give it a go. And you're going to be fine. Don't worry. And I'd say that for the past year and a half, I definitely have felt myself get a little better. You know, I mean, you eventually are going to build skill, and it's a little more effortless. In fact, I find it really effortless now to go out in the field just to get my line in a tree. Sometimes I'll get really picky, and sometimes you're presented with a tree like this one straight ahead. I don't know if I'm actually pointing to the right one, where I'm looking at it, and like that may be the only viable tree near you. Maybe there's no other trees around you, but the branches are like way up the tree, because in the past that tree was surrounded by other trees, so it doesn't have any lower branches, but the other tree's been cut away from it. And in those cases, it may take you a while to launch the line and actually get it in a particular branch, and just allow a little extra time for that. But today, because I didn't film this, it was a gorgeous deployment. I came over here, and this is actually not the easiest spot to throw a line through, because there's so many little branches here. And I wanted it to go up and over. I wanted to punch through and go over there and then back down near the picnic table, because I have a 40-meter end-fed half wave. That's a good 60-some feet of wire that I need to get in this tree. And I wanted it to be in an inverted V position, but I wanted the apex to be up fairly high. I didn't want this to be a complete Nivis antenna. You know, I wanted it to be up pretty high. And I launched this thing, and I'm here to tell you that I could hear the theme, John Williams' theme to the Superman film, as it went through that tree. It was just a thing of beauty. It soared through there and came down exactly where I wanted it to be, and I didn't get a bit of it on film, so you're gonna have to trust me. I'm so happy with that, though. And so I went ahead and deployed the antenna, and let me show you the station that I have today. Try not to trip on the way down here. I have got my Ten-Tec R4020. Now, let me get my tripod set up here real quick. Here we go. Oh, I should say that the other thing that really got me when I was throwing this up in the line, when I was throwing the line through the tree branches, is the sun was literally where the tree branch was. So the sun was behind it. And so I couldn't even see the tree branch. I just knew sort of where I was aiming. I think that's one of the reasons I was so incredibly impressed with this one. Wow, the sun has really, I'll try to move all this over a little bit so I'm in the shade here a bit more so maybe you can see the radio a bit better. I'll move this line here. The little gnats today are driving me insane, I'll admit that. It's the time of year they come out and they just want to buzz your ears. So you're constantly hearing something buzzing your ears, and you'll probably see them in front of the camera, I'm sure. Buzzing around. They kind of have like a little hoorah time this time of year. So my Ten-Tec R4020 actually now lives in its own little dedicated field pack that I built into this. This is a Blue Ridge Overland Gear large zippered pouch. And it holds everything I need, the whole kit in here. But actually, this time I will repack it with everything that's supposed to be in the kit. But this time I actually use some components outside the kit just to kind of shake it up a bit. So I added a different paddle, and I used my separate throw line for this. I didn't use the power cord this time because I'm using a little Talent Cell battery pack, which hopefully will work just fine. Also, of course, I'm using my Anchor speaker. In fact, I'll go ahead and turn that on before I forget. That is the sound of the speaker turning on. And this is a 2-band radio, 40 and 20 meters. Since we have a 40 meter in-fed half wave, it is resonant on 40 and 20, so we don't need an antenna tuner. Which is fantastic. Okay, let's try not to get all mixed up with these. We're on 20 meters. We may never move off of 20 meters. I'm not sure. Let's, where did I put my glasses? Here are my glasses. So yeah, this normally lives, it's at a fully self-contained kit here, but today I'm pulling those things out. I wanted to use this key. I haven't used this key in a while. I've actually used it at the house, but not in the field. This is a single lever paddle that I don't think CW Morse actually makes anymore. They have a new and better design of this very key that I probably need to add to my arsenal here soon. This is single lever. It looks like it's 2 levers, but it's actually, these are tied together. So, sorry, let me get the ants off the table. And I love these. And this was a gift from one of my readers of my blog, actually, or subscribers here. And I love this single lever paddle. Haven't used it in a while. And this old audio patch cord, like, literally matches the key. So I thought, this looks pretty good. Let me just get this. There we go. Let me just make sure this line's not too tangled up here. That's perfect. But I love this paddle. The only thing about this particular paddle design is eventually you do have to tighten this bolt that goes through here because these paddles can sometimes get a little bit loose and clicky. I think that's the reason why they probably don't use the same design anymore. But I love the CW Morse single lever paddle a lot. And I like this one, actually. It works really well. So let's see. Okay, not hearing a ton of activity out there. Oh, that's my phone making a noise. That's my phone making, oh, I see a mosquito. You know what? I am going to pause this and put some mosquito spray on real quick. I've got some stuff in the car. I'll be right back. Okay, take that, mosquitoes. Let's see if they bother me now. They probably still will. Okay, let's get the show on the road here. Okay, so we are, 20. It's going to start calling CQ. Now I did schedule this activation, so hopefully the reverse beacon network will pick me up. I still get gnats all around me though. A couple of these, and you know what, I need to take a photo before I forget. I'm not expecting this to be an easy activation, by the way. Conditions have been really poor, so this is probably not going to be an easy activation. Let me make sure I've got, there we go. Trying to move my phone a little further away from this. Okay, there's somebody there. That's what I was hearing. This can be super slow going. Let me see if I'm being spotted. Let's go back to the POTA website real quick. Yes, I'm being spotted. 4 dB. Yeah, that's pretty low. Well, okay, this must be something else. I'm going to move off frequency here. I have a hunch there's something going on that I can't hear. So if I move to clear frequency... Let's listen here for a second. We'll move. Could be something else going on that I just cannot hear. Let's move this real quick. Okay, I'm not hearing anything. So next we call QRL. Okay, we'll try to call QRL. KJ7DT. I'm trying to get it on the side here. I know that side tone's a little heavy there. For that reason, I'm going to move this over here next to the radio because I think it's going to be blasting you out. Great signal. I'll tell you what, the bands are kind of dead today. Sorry, I'm still fighting off mosquitoes flying around my head. By the way, in case you're wondering, this is something new I picked up recently, and it's been around long. These have been around a really long time, but this is like some kind of lycra material, and I use them to keep my arms out of the sun. But I find that like when I'm hiking and stuff, they're actually really cool. They feel very cool on your arms, and I like using them. I picked these up at Aria. Okay, time for a drink of water. We may see if the 40-meter band's doing better in a little bit. Yeah, we'll go ahead and QSY down to the 40-meter band. Let's find a place down here that might be available. You know what I'm going to do? The bands are so crappy today. I'm definitely going to check the spots to make sure there's nobody on this frequency. You know what I'll do? I may just hunt a little bit. Let's hunt a little bit while I'm waiting here. Okay, let's see. 7043.5. 74. I know I could change this to go a little faster, but I'm gonna have to do 43.5. Maybe 40 is doing a little bit better. 42. That was a nice park to park there. He said 42.35. Let's see if we can get another one. 40 meters definitely sounds like it's in a little bit better shape. Is there anybody else out there on 40? Yes. Let's see if there's somebody on. Okay, I'm going to change this to. Nope. Yes. 60. Supposedly somebody on 60. But they're in Kentucky. It's a little close for 40 meters. That's probably not going to work. That may have been them saying, hold on. Yes. That's the only other person I see. Ooh, there's somebody, West Virginia. Last heard 7 minutes ago. They're probably not on the air anymore. We'll try. Let's see, 70. No, you know what? Yes. Okay. Sorry, I was double checking, making sure that this wasn't the same frequency it was running before. So what I'm going to do is we'll try to get them, and then I'll move on to another. Yes, you're hearing some extra interference, but let your brain tune that out. Okay. I'm just waiting to see if they're coming back. Yeah, there are a lot of people on 20 meters, but let's wait and see here. I missed what they sent there at the end. I was looking at my phone at the time. But they seem to be gone. Maybe were they signing off? Okay. I am going to move up to 7063 and just get going here. If there's nobody there. We'll listen around here for a bit. Oh, yes. Need to put in my 40 meter contact here with AB9CA. Here we go. I need to do more hunting when I'm in the field. Frankly, I don't think about it. And their park was K-4235. There we go. Okay, now we're ready for the next one. Okay, everybody cross your fingers. I just need 6 more. You know, I don't know what the power output is on this radio. Someone here can probably tell me, and I'll know by the time this video is posted, but curious if it's 5 watts or less. Whew, I need to take some photos while I'm thinking about it. Okay. Okay. Thanks for coming along today, by the way. Really appreciate that. One, two, three, four. Right. Where'd you go? The bands must be bad. They're worse than I thought. Okay. I must be super weak on his end. Okay. Okay. There we go. Good job. Okay. Okay, was that right? Okay. Okay, got it right. Ooh, I'm getting into Kentucky today. I like that call sign. It's nice I'm getting into Kentucky today. I usually don't. That's the reason he's so strong. Another Kentucky, excellent. Great to get you in the logs again. Sorry, all this noise from my phone. Trying to move it away. Nice to get Tennessee, too. Yeah, Jamie, sorry about that. Oh, I can't hear him. Just need that missing piece right there. Okay, maybe they'll come back. I'll move on. Okay. Okay. It's kind of quiet right now. You know, I may jump off here in a second. I've got 19 contacts. Just waiting around to see if this YTA station comes back. I need to see how to turn this side tone down if I can. It just seems a little punchy. Now I'm remembering it's tied to the AF gain. Band must be really flaky. Gotcha. I was just there. Okay. That was an S, wasn't it? Okay. Okay. I hope I wasn't going too quickly. Yeah. Holy cow, where'd all this come from? Okay, wait. Okay. Thought I heard an extra letter in there. I know I heard MET, didn't I? Gotcha, okay, good. I bet you I faded out on them. Yeah. Yes. I'm just weak. They're in Nine Land, I bet. No, they're in Florida. Okay. Okay, was that NJA? Okay, wait. Sorry about that. There we go. Okay, sorry, I just got you all mixed up in my head. That was maybe a little bit generous of a signal report for you, but you're rising up to that. Okay, I'm going to turn it off before anybody else calls. It did sound like somebody was tuning up on top of me, but I need to end this. I got 28 contacts. Boy, 40 meters. This was an interesting day. So it seemed to me like 20 meters was just not there. There have been days when it's the complete opposite. In fact, that's the norm. Usually if we have flaring and there's instability, it seems like during the day, especially 20 meters is usually healthier than 30 meters and below. Sometimes 30 meters gets away, but 40 meters will just get wiped out with flaring and stuff. I could tell that it was a little slow. It was doing pretty well here, and it kind of slowed down a bit. Then all of a sudden it picked up again. And at least there were several times when stations would just completely disappear on me. And I'm sure I was disappearing on them. And that happens when things are unstable. You know, I have to admit, there's a little part of me, like, I don't care when I do a POTA activation or a SOTA activation. Propagation to me is almost irrelevant. As long as I can go out and have fun and make some contacts, I'm golden. Usually I can get my 10. Most POTA activators can get their 10. If I was really struggling, I could get out I could have gotten out my KX2, which also happens to be in this pack over here, and I could have done single sideband. I just enjoy doing CW, but I could do single sideband and spot myself there. And when you add another mode, then you do you increase your chances. And single sideband, there's just so many more, orders of magnitude more hunters out there. Even though my effective signal may be a little weaker than the CW signal is, there's just so many more people that it's easy to work just tons of people in single sideband. In fact, if you're after numbers, like you're trying to do your kilo awards and all those things for a park, and numbers are your thing, then single sideband's the way to do that. Because if you're going single sideband and it's a decent propagation day, I can work 3 or 4 stations in a minute compared to like 1 station per minute in CW, because we're not running this as a contest in CW. If you were doing contest exchanges, CW could probably go as fast as, if not faster than, single sideband, but that's not what this is about. This is about making contacts, keeping connected with your community here of park activators, and just having a good time. This is an activity. So there are always tricks you can use whenever propagation's weird. And having a multi-band radio also helps. It helps not to have a monoband radio. If I'd had just my 20-meter QCX Mini, I may have been struggling to get my 10 contacts. I probably would have eventually gotten them, but it would have probably taken a lot longer. Being able to switch down to like 40 meters or a lower band and just shake it up, that really comes in handy. So yeah, very pleased. I think with that, I need to go ahead and pack up. I do need to get back to my folks' place and see if I can help out my parents a little bit more this afternoon. I've got a lot going on, a lot of doctor's appointments and things like that. I'm helping them with. They won't have any this evening, but I want to have a nice quiet evening. And glad I got this hike in. Glad I got the activation in. Wow, is it a nice day? Humidity feels like it's kind of tapering off a little bit. Maybe it's because the temperature is just going down a little bit. But it definitely helps, feel a little more comfortable out here. I'm not a humidity guy. I've probably said that before. That's the reason I think we escape to Canada in the summer sometimes, is I like to just kind of get away from the heat and humidity sometimes. But I get used to it as well. When you live here, you get used to it. And I'll be here most of the summer this summer. I've got some traveling around to do, but it's temporary stuff and not the entire summer. So I'm going to take a look down here and kind of show you where I activated last time. So if you see that metal roof down there at the end, that is where I did my last activation, where I did it under the cover of that metal roof. Had a few people write and say, it doesn't really work when you do it under a metal roof. Well, my point was, it will work, because RF's got to go somewhere. And when you're the DX, you can do your park activation that way. Is it ideal? No. Would I do field day that way? No way would I do that. But if you go back and look at a hike and talk video I did about best practices, it kind of tells you that in cases like this where you're the DX, you can get away with a lot that you can't get away with when you're just doing general CQ calling or that sort of thing. Because when you're the DX, people are listening for you, and they know where you are, and they'll wait around knowing where you are. And so it increases your chances of being heard. I've also had people tell me that I really shouldn't just do QRP, I need to be doing QRO. But if I'm being honest, that's a hard sell for me. Since 2021, and before this, I was still doing QRP, but since 2021, I have had this mission of only activating parks with 5 watts, parks and summits. And occasionally I need to test radios and push them a little bit more than that. And sometimes I do just for fun, just to kind of add to the DX or something on a summit. I'll move it up to maybe 10 watts or something. And sometimes I've been, with other groups and ran more power than that, because that's the way they had their radio set up. But when I'm activating myself, I have not done a park activation. I've not validated a park with more than 5 watts since January 1st, 2021. and before that, I was still doing QRP, but I wasn't really paying attention to where my power setting was exactly. It could have been 6 watts or 7 watts. There is one exception, and that is my new FT818ND with the battery pack, the lithium-ion battery pack I got from WindCamp. I think it does put out 6 watts, I realize, when it's on its regular setting. So I may move it down. But I just don't think anything's needed more than QRP. QRP means that you can take a station this big, throw it in this little pack, and go have an activation. I don't need a whole lot more than that. And I love that. To me, that's just wonderful. And if you look here on my little talent cell pack, it's still showing a full 5 green LEDs. Meaning this entire activation, 32, what was it? How many minutes was this activation? Let's see. It was roughly a little over 45 minutes, and it had like no impact on that at all. I mean, that's the size battery you can get away with QRP. That's the size radio. You can just have a kit so small, so easy to take around. That's why I do QRP. It's just super, super portable and super easy and packable. Anyway, I better stop talking. Thank you so very much for joining me today. And I'd also like to just give a special shout out to my Patreon and Coffee Fund supporters. As I've said before, don't try to support me if you need to support yourself. If you're trying to buy your first radio or something like that's going on in your life, or you're a student, or you're on a fixed income, whatever, don't worry about me. I'm going to survive just fine. What the support does mean to me through Patreon and the Coffee Fund is that I can set aside more time to do more of this, because when I do these videos, I would do POTA anyway, but when I shoot a video, even though I don't edit it, there's still going to be some post-production time just piecing together the clips that the video camera makes and adding titles and things like that sometimes to it. That takes a little bit of time, but it takes me a lot longer just to publish a thing because I live in a place where I can't really do that from home. My home internet's so bad. I have to go out of my way to do that. I have to buy bandwidth on hotspots and to the tune of at least $100 a month of just that bandwidth, so I can do some uploads near my home. Also, it's just time. It opens up the time for me, so I don't have to be doing something to make a little bit of money other than this, which to me is just pure fun and a labor of love. So it means a lot to me, and I've been watching a lot, and I probably will have a separate video about this, but you know, YouTube is a platform that just keeps changing how they do things. I have never cared how many subscribers I have. I care more about the people being on there or the people I want on there. So I don't want trolls. I don't want all that stuff. I don't want a channel with 1 million viewers because that brings in a lot of trolls and craziness, and I don't really care for that. So you notice that I hardly ever ask anyone to subscribe. I'd like the people to subscribe who really would enjoy this channel and who would enjoy interacting with the community we have here. And I want people to subscribe to the blog, QRPer.com, because that's where I do way more. I only put out maybe 2 videos a week on YouTube, but I do post almost every day on QRPer.com, and a lot of guest posts from some amazing people. I mean, it's just the greatest thing about building that little QRPer community is just the people that share their stories of their field operations, things they've built, what they've done, experiments. I love that stuff. If you ever want to share your field report on QRPer, get in touch with me. I'd love to do that. But again, thank you for your support. The Patreon stuff especially really makes it easy for me to plan out things. And I'm trying to do some extra perks for Patreon supporters. So YouTube, more and more, is starting to do just ads whether or not I monetize it or not. And lately, there have been a lot of videos. I watched one from Fran Lab, which is one of the channels I really like. And she said, you know, it was like 3 years ago that YouTube basically said, we're going to put, even if you don't monetize your channel, we're start putting ads on it. And so she said that you almost get more control of your channel if you monetize it, because then you can have some control over what they're doing. I probably will end up agreeing to monetize the channel and then trying to find the lightest impact way to do that, because I don't want ads throughout my videos. I just don't really care for that. However, on Patreon, I pay for a service through Vimeo, and you have to pay for the bandwidth to do it. So I open it up to the people who support me on Patreon, mainly because that's a channel that I can do that. And if you join me on Patreon, I usually I always send a link for an activation video now to Vimeo. And on Vimeo, not only is it completely ad-free because I pay for that bandwidth, or you pay for the bandwidth, but you can actually download those videos too. So if you want to download it and like listen to it in your car or something like that, or if you're going somewhere and you know just want to practice some CW on the way or whatever, you can do that through Vimeo. And Vimeo also acts as a really nice archive to everything, because I don't know if you've seen this, but sometimes people will entirely lose their entire YouTube channel because they'll get hacked or something will happen. And I do not believe in putting everything in one platform. I'm a big believer in spreading it out. And so that's the reason I like having Vimeo. I also save all my videos on a Google Drive and on hard drives. And my QRPer.com, I completely control that website. So I can control what happens to it and doesn't happen to it. And it is also backed up. And Patreon and Coffee Fund supporters pay for that as well. I have it backed up in 2 separate places offline because I'm paranoid about losing it. There's just something like 1,000 posts on there already. So I don't want to lose any of that material. So you make that possible. Thank you so much. I'm not trying to buy a new car or anything. And in fact, if this would not be a viable thing for me to, I don't know how YouTubers like quit their jobs and do this sort of thing. It's not for that. To me, I try to reinvest it back in what I'm doing, and then any of the money that's left over goes into my family fun account. You know, it also pays for like review equipment and things like that, but the rest of it goes to my family fun account. So that's what we use to go on really nice trips and stuff, where I get to do even more POTA and soda. Anyway, that was a long-winded thing to say. I just say thank you. Thank you so much. It's really an honor to have anyone support you for what you do, and I appreciate that. Anyway, again, thanks for joining me. Have a wonderful day. Take care of one another. Be kind to one another. And until next time, 7 threes.